So now that we have explored the types of groups and cultural awareness as well as ethical foundations in both the last video and in your reading, now we're going to turn our attention to the person leading the group, the facilitator. So, stepping into the role of a group leader can obviously be both exciting and intimidating, especially for those who are just beginning. New group leaders often face a variety of challenges, from managing the group dynamics and setting appropriate boundaries to navigating silence, conflict, or emotional intensity. So, it's not uncommon to feel unsure about how much to intervene or when to simply let the process unfold. Many beginners worry about being liked by the group or fear of losing control of the group. These concerns are normal and they highlight just how complex and demanding this work can be. So, leading a group is not just about delivering content, it's about holding space, guiding process, tuning into emotional undercurrents, and making split-second ethical decisions, often all at once. So, what separates a struggling group leader from an effective one? Let's take a moment to talk about the characteristics and functions of an effective group leader. So, at the heart of it, a group leader and leaders are clear communicators who can establish structure without becoming rigid. They are emotionally present, self-aware, empathetic, and grounded in strong ethical values. They are flexible without being passive, and they bring warmth and authenticity while maintaining professional boundaries. On the other hand, it's important for group leaders to understand that their role isn't to fix group members. It's to be able to facilitate a process that allows group members to access their own wisdom, insight, and power. So their core functions here become setting a safe tone, helping members to connect, managing conflict constructively, and modeling respect and courageous communication. Of course, these qualities come to life through specific skills, and group facilitation requires a range of competencies. So these competencies are active listening, being able to reflect, so reflecting and summarizing, clarifying and asking open-ended questions. And why do we ask open-ended questions? So that clients can explore the question rather than giving a finite, concrete yes or no answer. They also have to be able to be skilled in observing the group dynamics. And whenever we say that, you have to be able to see when the clients in the group are beginning to withdraw, or who is dominating the conversation, or how power and trust and alliances are forming within the group itself. So they also need to be able to manage time and pace the session. So making sure that the session is moving smoothly, being able to navigate silence without panic. Sometimes you just have to sit with the silence without worrying about saying something along with it. They also have to be able to handle emotional content with care. So being able to help group members to express themselves without feeling exposed or re-traumatized. And when conflict arises, and it most likely will, because it does often, Effective facilitators don't avoid it. Instead, they treat it as an opportunity for growth, building the group through the discomfort toward a deeper um, a deeper understanding. So, how do we know if we're growing as a group leader, you may ask? So, this is where self-assessment comes in. So, just like we ask our group members to reflect and grow, we have to do the same consistently, often. Let me just rephrase this again and say it again. Just like we ask our group members to reflect and grow, we have to do the exact same thing. So, self-assessment allows us to evaluate our effectiveness, identify our blind spots, and our biases. It helps us to be able to track our development over time. So, this also allows us to be able to recognize patterns in how we lead and what we're confident in and where we're stuck. So a good approach to self-assessment here is being able to keep a reflective journal after each session. So checking in with yourself. It doesn't have to be no big page, just jotting down notes about yourself and how you felt and things like that helps you to be able to come back and check to see, do I feel like I'm in the same spot, or have I grown since this moment? Do I still see this the same way? Another thing is being able to seek supervision. So whenever you seek supervision, you are going to another person to kind of gatekeep for you. You're going to the other person like, hey, this is what's going on with the group. This is how I handled it. And your supervisor will then explain to you, if you did it right, you got it right. Or if you need improvement, here's where you need improvement. Or if you just don't know what to do, you ask your supervisor and they can give you advice because usually they've got more years of experience on you. Another way to be able to self-assess yourself is to videotape and reviewing sessions when possible, if allowed. So if you're videotaping, you do have to ask the participants of that group to sign a waiver that they're okay with being videotaped. And if they don't want to be taped, they ain't got to be. Another thing that you can do is inviting feedback from trusted colleagues. So the important thing to remember about self-assessment is it's not about being self-critical. It's about being self-aware and committed to ethical, competent practice. So being self-aware of yourself and knowing where you need help and admitting that, hey, I need help. Seek supervision. Check yourself. Do what you need to do to be able to grow and to be able to be competent. Now, over time, this habit of honest reflection makes us more attuned, more adaptive, and ultimately more impactful in our work. So, moving right along. Let's talk about co-leadership. So, co-leadership, which is very common in group settings, comes with its own unique dynamics. So, first, the process of selecting a co-leader matters. Ideally, you want someone whose values and communication styles and theoretical orientation complement yours. You don't have to be exactly alike. In fact, diversity can be a strength, but you do need shared respect and open communication and a willingness to engage in honest collaboration. Working well together involves planning ahead, dividing responsibilities clearly, and checking in regularly about how group is progressing. It's also vital to debrief after sessions to process what happened and how you each felt and how the group responded to your interventions. So, whenever co leadership works well, the advantages are powerful. Like, two leaders can model healthy communication and mutual respect, which benefits the group. One leader can manage content while the other tracks emotional cues or group dynamics. So, you're able to support each other. And whenever you're able to really support each other, that is able to help emotionally. And it also helps you to like have someone there for you to step in if one of you misses something, or to be able to take turns leading and observing. So being able to do that and having different cultural backgrounds or identities or experiences can also really shape how the group feels more, how they feel more seen and understood. And also, let's not forget, co-leadership reduces isolation as well as burnout. So you're not in it alone. So in the same breath, obviously, co-leadership is not without its disadvantages. So if you or your co-leader don't have a strong working alliance, then the group will feel it. Power struggles, lack of communication, or inconsistent approaches can confuse or destabilize members. So one leader dominating the entire process or undermining the other can create tension. And not just tension between the two leaders, tension in the whole room. So even logistical issues like differences in punctuality or paperwork or decision making can spill over into the group space if not addressed. So that's why communication and mutual respect are non-negotiables. You have to build trust with your co-leader just as you build trust with your group. So beyond the leadership dynamics, let's take a moment to talk about the next important thing, which is research and group work. Whether you're a clinician, educator, or community facilitator, having a research orientation helps you to stay grounded in what works. It allows you to draw on evidence-based principles or evaluate your outcomes, and also adapt your approach to better serve the members that you're working with. Being research informed doesn't mean that you need to run clinical trials, okay? It means you're committed to learning and to asking thoughtful questions and to integrating new knowledge into your practice. And this is especially vital as group work evolves with technology, cultural shifts, new therapeutic models come out, new ways of doing things come out that is modernized. So it's important to stay up to date on what the best things for your members are. Then if we was to take an international perspective, we see that group research really varies widely depending on the culture and the country and available resources. So in some regions, group therapy is still developing as a practice, while in others, it is a well established. So cultural norms influence how groups are structured, how disclosure is handled, and how change is measured. So understanding group research globally broadens our awareness and helps us to design more inclusive and culturally responsive interventions. And it also reminds us that group work is both universal and deeply contextual. One area that research has made significant contributions in um, is the study of common factors. So, those core elements that tend to predict success across many types of group approaches. So, these include quality of therapeutic relationship, the presence of hope and a positive group climate, clear goals, active participation from members. Whether you're running a CBT group or a narrative therapy group or a support group, these common factors here help explain why people grow. So, understanding them allows facilitators to prioritize what really matters: connection, safety, engagement, and purpose. So, how exactly can research enhance our group practice? Well, first, it helps us to tailor interventions to fit specific populations or goals. So it can guide us in evaluating what's effective and help us justify the use of certain models to stakeholders or administrators. Research finding can also help us recognize when and why a group isn't working and offer evidence based adjustments. And importantly, research can validate the lived experiences of our clients. So, this gives them a voice to their struggles and their strengths and transformations in a measurable way. Of course, combining research and practice isn't always easy. Many practitioners are overwhelmed by the time constraints and paperwork and the large caseloads. Gathering data or analyzing outcomes might feel like a luxury that they can't afford. So there's also sometimes a disconnect between academic research and the messy human reality of clinical work. Controlled studies don't always capture the complexity of real groups, especially dealing with trauma and oppression or community level stressors. Yet the challenge is worth facing. And when we're able to bridge research and practice, we don't just improve outcomes, we strengthen our credibility, contribute to our field, and most importantly, we offer our group members the most informed and compassionate care possible. Thank you.